Magic the Gathering is a constantly evolving game, with approximately 10 new sets coming out every year and more than 100 pre-existing sets. Instead of being smart and dropping hundreds of dollars to get the exact cards I need to build the perfect deck, I've decided to do it the old-fashioned way, through official, sealed product only. Using $50 per week, I will embark on a journey to create the perfect deck. We will climb the brackets of CEDH and become a competitive monster. Welcome to Magic the Gathering Sealed Only. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our Magic the Gathering Sealed Only CEDH challenge. Quick recap from last time. We did manage to scrape out a win. We cheated just a little bit. Didn't read a card correctly, but it happens in a casual setting. But today I'm very excited to keep us moving. We will be opening Zendikar Rising. Was able to grab a booster box and we'll be opening some packs from that box. Today we've got 13 packs, which squeezes into our budget there, getting us right around that $50 range. So without further ado, let's crack straight into them. We'll start with these ones right here. So all right, we have got Ancient Electromancer, Negate, was looking for one of these, Mesa Lynx, Teeter Peak Ambusher, Gnarled Colony, Nimana Skittersneak, Bubble Snare, Pressure Point, Spitfire Lage, Nahiri's Binding, Skyclave Shadowcat, Allied Assault, Vastwood Fortification. This one's actually kind of okay because it's also a land. You want to put some cool lands in the deck. And we pulled a mythic on the first pack. Wow. Mirag, Fury of Akum. Curse, we can't play it. It does have a landfall ability, but not really in our color scheme. And we got the cool Full Art Plains and a cat token. A few cards that we're looking to get on this one. One of them was that Negate. There's a few in here like Jawari Disruption. It's a counterspell that's also a land. There is Anti-Cognition, counterspell. Just looking to put a couple more of those in the deck to kind of keep things, interactive. There's Cherek's Raging Isle. He's a rare. He's just a big Leviathan crab. Doesn't really provide any synergy, but I thought he was kind of cool. There's also the big ones are things like Lotus Cobra, Ashaya Soul the Wild, Ancient Green Warden, Roiling Regrowth, and then a big one for our going wide strategy is going to be Scute Swarm. So hoping to see a few of those today. Crack into the next one here. And these are draft packs. Is the only thing my LGS had. So we did go ahead with the draft. But we've got Cliffhaven Sellsword, Scavenged Blade, Field Research, Marauding Blight Priest, Reclaim the Wastes. This one's okay. Might be worth us checking out. Gouldraz Mucklord, Marasa Brute, Nimana Sky Dancer. Look at her. She's flipping there. Cunning Geyser Mage, Skyclave Sentinel, Kitesail Cleric, Base Camp. Yeah, not one that we're going to play. Jawari Disruption, another one of those. Let's see, that's one of those dual lands, or a dual that. And then another mythic. Oh my gosh, in the Lithoform engine. I don't know. Ooh, we'll have to look into that. I don't know. We'll have to try that. See if we can squeeze that in somewhere, because that is a great card. And then we got our planes in pack number 3 here. And in that box topper, I do believe we have a chance at a cool land. So I'm saving that one for right around the middle, and we will jump into it. We've got a Fisher Wizard, a Tazim Roll Mage, Expedition Healer, Skittersneak, Commandu Stomper, Ascetic, Stonework Patch Beast, Malakir Blood Priest, Cleansing Wildfire, Cunning Geyser Mage, Relic Golem, Soaring Thought Thief, Sajiri Shelter, which is also a land, but not something we're going to play, Magmatic Channeler, and a full art island. That's actually pretty cool. I'll probably throw that in. Nothing there. All right, jumping into pack number 4. Flying through them here. And who doesn't love that new pack smell? Smells good. Got a Kabira Outstrider, Scavenged Blade, Dauntless Survivor, Blood Price, Gul'Dra's Mucklord, Risen Riptide. When you cast a kicked spell, nope, we don't do that too much. Another Brute, Utility Knife, just makes them bigger. Probably not something we're going to play. Sizzling Barrage, Deadly Alliance, Attended Healer, Iridescent Horn Beetle. Create a 1/1. Yeah, maybe? Probably not. Malekith Rebirth, and then Charik's Raging Isle. This is one of the ones I wanted. He's just a big crab, 0/17, and we can make him big and kind of swing in with him. He goes into our Leviathan strategy, but pretty good. Yeah, Full Art Mountain. Cool. Really digging these Zendikar ones. Kabira Outrider, Inordinate Rage, Into the Royal. We already have a copy of that, I believe. If not, we'll probably consider that as well. It's good removal. Reclaim the Wastes, Sizzling Barrage, Dauntless Unity, Highborn Vampire, Snarecaster, Royal Eruption, Cleric's Life Bond, Scion of the Swarm, Blackhorn Rogue. Our rare is Kargan Intimidator, and then a Cool Forest. I'll definitely be throwing some of these full arts in there. They are pretty. All right. Pyroclastic Hellion, Seafloor Stalker, Dazim Raptor, Dauntless Survivor. A lot of repeats at this point. Turntimber Ascetic, Cleansing Wildfire, Tajaru Snarecaster, Deadly Alliance, Seagate Banneret. Core Blade Master. I actually played a deck with this. Equipment deck was super fun. Let's see. Nope. And Colony Ambush. Target creature you don't fight, target creature you don't control, and it's also a land. So if we wanted to throw a fight spell in there, maybe it might be good to toss in. Our rare is Linvala, Shield of Seagate. Not in our color scheme. Full Art Swamp. All right, this is the halfway point here, or the pack before, I should say. All right, Field Research, Cliffhaven Sellsword, Teeter Peak Ampusher, Subtle Strike, Territorial Scythecat. It's a cool art. Risen Riptide, another Brute. Another Utility Knife, Sizzling Barrage, Brushfire Elemental, Demon's Disciple, Solundi Vision. Look at the top 6 cards of your library, reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them, put it into your hand, the rest at the bottom. It's also a land. Could be worth playing. And then we've got Cragplate Baloth as our rare. Probably not something that we're going to play. Another Fallout Forest. Cool. All right, let's crack into the box topper. And this is where we want to get a few cool lands out of here. Let's see if we can get lucky and get one that's our color scheme. Careful not to reveal it. And then what do we got? We've got a Sea of Clouds. Not something that we are going to be able to play. Unfortunate. But we still got about 6 more packs to go. Let's keep it going. All right. Tormenting Voice. Another Negate. Don't really need any more of those. Practice Tactics. Expedition Skulker. Gnarly Colony. Skyclave Squid. It is something that we can do, but it's kind of garbage. It's a defender, and when you put a land in turn, it's not defender anymore. And it's not that great. Glacial Grasp. Tap target creatures. Its controller mills 2 cards. It's alright. McKinney Ox. Roiling Regrowth. This is actually a good one for us. All right. Roiling Regrowth. Merfolk Falconer, Spoils of Adventure, and then we got Kazandu Mammoth as our rare. It's got landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, he gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. And he's also a land. Not a bad card. Might toss that in. Then we got a foil, Akiri Fearless Voyager. This was also in that that core deck that I was talking about earlier, equipment deck. All right. Field Research, Cliffhaven Sellsword, Teeter Peak Ambusher, Anti-Cognition, Jar of Blightblade, 1-drop Death Toucher might be worth playing, Oblivion's Hunger, Pressure Point, Bug Catcher, Feed the Swarm. A lot of cards not in our color. Here we go, Jawari Disruption, Lotus Cobra. Yes, this is what we needed. It's going to be creating a bunch of mana for us. Very, very nice. Foil Molten Blast, Full Art Island, very pretty, and a Core Warrior. Awesome. I'm so happy that we got the Lotus Cobra. I was hoping we didn't use all our luck on those mythics in the beginning. We're just looking for this rare. And then I guess all that we're looking for after this would be the Ancient Green Warden and Ashaya Soul of the Wild. So let's hope we can get lucky on these last 4 packs. Resolute Strike, Sneaking Guide, Deliberate, not a bad card. Territorial Scythecat, that cool art again. Mind Drain, Gnarled Colony. Come on, just give me a Scute Swarm. We need a Scute Swarm. Pressure Point, Relic, Amulet. Yep, nope, definitely not. Fireblade Charger, Journey to Oblivion, Ondu Inversion, that'd be cool. Rabid Bite, Foil, pretty cool card. I'm not sure if we'll play it, maybe. And our Full Art Plains. Getting down to the last few packs here. Let's keep things moving. Deliberate, Core Celebrant, Inordinate Rage, Adventure Awaits. No, probably not. Haggard Constrictor, Kazandu Stomper, Exposition Diviner, Nissa's Zendikon. It's alright, maybe. Prowling Felidar, that's a cool one. Look at him. Demon's Disciple, Thundering Spark Mage, Tangled Flohedron if we want a mana dork. A land and a dork. Pretty cool. Luminarch Aspirant. We've got a foil Cleric of Life's Blood. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And a Full Art Island. Second to last pack. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Got Anti-Cognition, Angel Heart Protector, Scorch Rider, Chilling Trap, Blood Beckoning, Broken Wings, Expedition Diviner, Skyclave Squid, cooler art, but still a sucky card. Canopy Baloth, another one of the ones that gets juiced when we play lands, so maybe. Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort, that's funny. Scion of the Swarm, Rock Slide Sorcerer, Salundi Vision. Again, it's one of those dual lands. Shadow's Verdict as our rare, and a Swamp. Come on, last pack. Last pack, give us an Ancient Green Warden, Ashaya, or Roiling Regrowth. Please, please, please. Scute Swarm would be cool too. Tormenting Voice, Shell Shield, Practice Tactics, Subtle Strike, Might of Marasa, Drana's Silencer, McKindy Ox, another Rabid Bite, Cliffhaven Kitesail, Akum Hellhound, Fearless Fledgling, Vastwood Surge, Spikefield Hazard. I think this is going to be our rare. Yeah, unfortunate. Nahiri's Lithoforming. Sacrifice X lands, reach land, sacrifice this way, draw a card. You may play X additional lands. Would be cool to play. Fortunately, it is not a green card. Well, I don't know. I think that was a pretty successful opening. We got a few mythics. Not all of them we can play, but definitely cool nonetheless. Let's look at the hits. Not a bad opening at all. Taking a look at what we might consider to throw in here. We've got 10 new cards to consider, not to mention a whole bunch of bulk that we might toss in as well. A lot to like here. Kind of cool. Lithoform Engine, Lotus Cobra obviously being the biggest hit here. The rest of these are just kind of cherry on top, as it were. but let's go ahead and edit the deck. I cut Stump Squall Hydra for Crag Plate Baloth. I did this because it just struck me as kind of a straight upgrade. The Hydra wasn't really doing much, and Crag Plate is at least a little bit more utility. Hexproof, haste, can't be countered. It just struck me as kind of a better spell to put at our top end rather than dumping a bunch of mana into a Hydra. Could be wrong. Next, I cut Seer's Sundial for Lithoform Engine. This struck me as a straight upgrade. Seer's Sundial is kind of crappy, a little too expensive for my taste. Next, I cut Shark to Crab for Roiling Regrowth. Shark to Crab, again, wasn't really doing much for us, just kind of a body, and Roiling Regrowth will get us 2 landfall triggers, which I think is just worth a lot more, not to mention that it costs less than Shark to Crab. Next, I cut Meteor Golem for Negate. This one might be a little controversial, but I don't think Meteor Golem's that good. I think Negate is going to be a lot better and is online a lot sooner. After that, I did cut Verdant Sun's Avatar for Kazandu Mammoth, and this is one I'm not sure on. Verdant Sun's Avatar has absolutely no synergy in the deck, but it does provide us with a little bit of extra life. Let me know what you guys think down below. Should I keep the Verdant Sun's Avatar, or should I go with Kazandu Mammoth for the land and the landfall ability? Next, I cut Retreat to Kazandu for Lotus Cobra. This was a no-brainer. Return to Kazandu really isn't that good. It's not doing that much. Lotus Cobra will be our first step into some infinite combos that we should hopefully see down the line, and it's just an all-round great card. After that, I cut Simic Sky Swallower for our Mr. Krabs, the Cherix, the Raging Isle. I think this is just better. I think later in the game, having a bunch of mana to dump into Cherix and swing in for a buttload of damage seems better than having Shroud and Flying. Next, I also cut an Island for Jawari Disruption. This is just a straight upgrade since it's also an island in addition to being a counterspell, so this one was a no-brainer. And then I also cut Memorial to Genius for Salundi Vision, and I thought that this one was kind of equatable. Gives us a little bit more utility, and worst case scenario, it's just an island that taps when entered.
Today we are playing against Home Depot's Terra Herald of Hope, Tom's Yennet Cryptic Sovereign, and Cheerios with his Tenuk Steadfast second deck. We are in the bottom left with everyone's favorite sea monster. Let's jump into the game. We start the game off with some fair magic, going around the table, playing lands, and nothing else. That is until turn 3, where Home gets his commander out, and we start ramping with a Cultivate. It's turn 4 where we begin to see how Home's deck works. He casts Entomb, sending Thalia, Heretic Kahar to his graveyard, and proceeds to combat, taking first blood against us, then activating Terra to return Alicia, who laughs at fate, and then using Alicia's effect in the end phase to bring back Stitcher's Supplier, and we can already see how this could be dangerous. Tom spends his turn casting Ponder and passing, where Cheerios casts his commander, Tenuk Steadfast II. I untap and play an island for turn and summon AC, mistakenly thinking he's a 5 mana instead of 6. I promise I will figure out how to play the game soon. I then pass my turn after playing a forest and drawing a card off of AC's effect. Home mills Anger during his turn, giving all of his creatures haste, and I'm hating not having any graveyard hate. Home swings into Tom and Cheerios, where Tom responds by mortifying Alicia. After combat, Home uses Karmic Guide to bring back General Leo Christoph, and then uses his ETB effect to bring back Thalia. This is getting oppressive. Cheerios attempts to clear out Home's board with an Extinguisher Battleship, but Home has a flawless maneuver, giving all of his creatures indestructible until the end of turn. Home spends his turn doing more graveyard shenanigans and building a scary board, and then Tom spends his entire turn casting his commander, Yennet Cryptic Sovereign. We stick a Nezahal Primal Tide so we can get some more cards into our hand and hopefully see an answer for Home's board. All of us are getting smacked around by Home as his board just keeps getting wider. With Anger in his grave, we're all beginning to feel the pressure on our life totals. He's also been recycling Kami of False Hope to prevent any combat damage we would deal to his board. Tom copies his commander but can't do anything with her yet. Cheerios warps out Tyrant of Discord, attempting to whittle down Home's board again, but he gets unlucky and hits a land on only the second roll. After spending my entire turn digging for an answer, I finally hit one. Scourge of Fleets. This bounces Home's entire board back to his hand without touching anyone else's. He begins rebuilding quickly during his turn and attempts to stick an Archon of Emeria, which we counterspell. This ends his turn and forces him to discard for hand size. Tom begins to get a little scary as he casts Quantum Misalignment, copying his Yennet, and then casts an Elishnorn, swinging into home, and then hits a Valgavoth Terror Eater off the top. We are losing more and more life as turns pass, and we aren't seeing any answers. I think this quote from the game describes this situation quite well right now. Love to have... I've drawn like 20 cards. I haven't hit a single one that says landfall on it, so that I can like start popping off.
Now you're out of lands in your deck.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'll play an island. I'll draw one. We do use Eternal Witness to add back Counterspell, then I cast Peel from Reality to remove Elishnorn, but I forget that Valgavoth is on the board, and I swing in, losing my Nezahal in the process and only dealing 6 damage. Not worth it. We then allow home to cast Righteous Ultimatum to stop Tom from popping off and winning the game with a bunch of free castings. This does unfortunately wipe our board, but we have a ton of mana and I'm sure that we can recover. We do end up burning that counterspell against a Shieldred that Tom tries to cast. Then Cheerios slams down an Atali on his turn, but thankfully he can't give it haste. We replay AC and pop down Stormtide Leviathan to try to buy us some time to rebuild. It does end up being in vain as our opponents are able to create flyers and swing into us. We do finally hit a landfall card being Avenger of Zendikar, which gives us 19 plants, but it's too little too late and I'm already dead on board. Home tutors, which I let go through, but then I do counter an Akroma's Will to try to give the other guys a chance. Right after this, we are unfortunately knocked out of the game by Home and his Flyers. The game goes on with Home making a pretty much unbreakable board, knocking out Cheerios, and Tom does eventually choose to scoop it up after not being able to find an answer, despite hanging on for a little while there. Well, GG's to Home, Tom, and Cheerios. It was honestly a really fun game, and we all agreed that everyone's deck kind of had their chance to pop off and do their thing, maybe with the exception of Cheerios, who was kind of on damage control the whole game. But this game definitely made me realize that we need some graveyard hate. But I'm not really sure where we can get it. Leave me a comment down below with what I should open next, and just any recommendations for the deck. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, drop it a like. If you want to continue to follow the series, please hit that subscribe button. See you next time.